Hello students, this is a revision video explaining how to plan an answer for a past exam question. The past question that we will be using was taken off the 2016 paper. This is a 25 mark question and requires an essay answer. The example that we will be using in today's session is as follows. Radicalism did not pose a serious challenge to the government in the years 1783 to 1801. Explain why you agree or disagree with this view. This is a standard AS question. You need to look at the question, identify the parameters, which are 1783 to 1801, and look at what the question is asking you to do. Once you've identified these key points, you can then start to plan your essay. Let's break it down and have a look at the basics. First of all, it is giving you a statement. Radicalism did not pose a serious challenge. It is giving you a point of view. You can challenge this view, highlight how you agree with it, and in essence, discuss and come to a conclusion. The question is also giving you a time period between 1783 and 1801, bringing in information after or before this time period, but can be used for points, for context, but will not be awarded main marks as such. So make sure that you stay within the parameters of the question. Crucially, this is an explain why question. You're going to tell me why you agree and why you disagree with this view. You're going to challenge the historian as well as accept the points he makes and bring in your knowledge to do so. At basic level, you need to engage with the statement and make a list of factors that agree and disagree before you arrive at a supported and sustained conclusion. Let's do this together now. If we think about this question, there are a number of key areas, and if I show you what the exam board is actually looking for, I'll show you the indicative content. You can see here that it's looking for a number of key areas. So arguments suggesting that radicalism did not pose a serious challenge is listed above. So the overall standard of living for people improved in this period. Many people did not want to risk those gains, particularly the middle class. The radical movements were split, so therefore there was a north-south divide. In many respects, historians suggest that without this support, without this coordination, any push for overall revolution would have been futile, and the radical threat was suppressed greatly, not just by government legislation such as the suspension of habeas corpus in 1795, but also by a feeling of disgust when people saw the trauma and upheaval that the French went through during the French Revolution. These are all factors which you can identify, but you need to bring in your subject knowledge. It may be at this stage that you need to go back to your booklets and fill out your knowledge on a spreadsheet or on a spider diagram to prepare you to answer this question. Equally, there are also points that you need to consider regarding the view of radicalism was a serious challenge, which you've also got to show. There are high numbers of radical working class organisations. There is horrendous poverty at this time, and there are very, very few workers' rights. Moreover, very few men and no women are enfranchised at this time. There are various sources and numerous historians arguing that the social and economic problems are so great that they are forcing Britain down a pathward of descent towards revolution. And as you can see in the indicative contents, it highlights a number of these. Again, if you're unfamiliar with these, please refer back to your booklet. Let's simplify it now. If we had a look at agree, I've identified 4 core areas. But once you've identified those 4 areas, you need to highlight the links, and certainly as you're writing your essay, you need to show those links and explain them. So if we highlight the first 4 areas as a poor standard of living, but some groups in society had made gains, you're going to have to make a point that many people are suffering, but equally, many groups in society are actually progressing and seeing developments during the Industrial Revolution. They would not want to risk their gains. Secondly, the radical movements were split. You need to give at least one example of a radical movement at this time from your subject knowledge, and then explain how it may not have appealed to possibly the middle classes. When Britain went to war with France and the violence of the French Revolution was revealed, in many respects it repulsed the middle class and even many of the upper working class, as many felt that a violent revolution simply wasn't Britain's cup of tea, and actually, rather than gaining support for revolution, many people moved away from it. The government was able to suppress with legislation and fear. I've colour-coded these points to show you where connections can be. So for example, the idea of people being repulsed by revolution links in with the idea that people didn't want to risk with their improvements. Equally, radical movements being split highlights the idea that legislation was able to break up groups and there was no universal thought or movement to push a revolution. These are advanced points that you can make in your explanation and that will help you achieve level 5. On the other side of the essay, poor standards of living did provide a hotbed for unrest and discontent. Many people were without the vote and without basic food. Radical movements were split, admittedly, but there were movements that appealed to the working class in their desperation, and you can make a valid argument and bring in historians and sources to support that view. When Britain went to war with France and the violence of the French Revolution was revealed, again it repulsed people, but you've also got to highlight about the desperation that was in place. You need to highlight the other points for disagree. Furthermore, whilst the government was able to suppress with legislation, there were also factors which combat this, and there were examples of unrest. If I take you back to the indicative content, you can see these in a little bit more detail. You might focus on the mutiny in the Navy, or possibly talk about the Sheffield Corresponding Society. Have a little look at the agree and disagree spec, familiarise yourself with it, and then you can use this to inform your planning. You may notice key areas that you know about. You can include them in your plan at a later stage. There may be things on there that you might think, actually, I'm not too sure about that, and need to go back to your booklet. These questions need to show a depth of knowledge. That doesn't just include dates, it includes analysis and explanation of these key areas included within your argument. Once you've completed your plan and I've checked it over, you will then be having a go at completing the essay. Remember Peel. Use the essay structure. In each paragraph, give a point, provide evidence from historical sources or from your own knowledge, and explain these points and link them back to the question or your argument. You need to clearly answer the question, showing both why you agree and why you disagree. Don't come off the point and deliver a sustained judgment. You may now begin to plan your essay.